Okay, so let's talk about inexpensive microphones for modeling or miking up a bass amp. So I'm doing a little shootout here. All right, let me cut the bass down. So I'm doing a little shootout here of a couple of microphones so we can compare it to this Heimu kick drum mic. I think it's called Big Mic on Amazon. It's about $35 mic. It would looks a lot like a kick drum mic. If you saw my previous video where I talked about the build quality, you can see where I took it apart, and it's actually a lot like an SM57 as far as the elements and everything. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to play it through this amp right here. So this amp started its life as a Carvin PB200, and the head part here is actually still a Carvin. I've done some rewiring of the connection to the speaker with the L pad. You can see there's a tweeter on it. So I've done some rewiring there, and the woofer is a completely different woofer. It's an Eminence LFA woofer. So anyway, so it's not a stock Carvin amp, but what we're going to do here is play a bass through the amp, through these three microphones. I'm going to show you on my UI16 mixer. I'm going to pull up the real-time analyzer and show it to you here on the screen, so you can see the difference in frequency response for the same bass stuff and see what it looks like. So I am going to pick up the tablet as I go and flip between the microphones. The only microphone that's on right now is this one, the Heimu mic. So I will start playing. So a little background on the bass here. This is a real cheapy jazz bass copy. Two single coil pickups, which you heard there humming in the beginning. So there we go. So now I've got them both cut on. So let's play with a pick at first. Let me pull up the real-time analyzer so you see what it looks like. So we're going to go to the UI16 to the EQ for the microphone, cut on the real-time analyzer, and I've defeated all the compression and EQ on this. So you see down here on the screen, that's the tablet, and the real-time. There we go. So you see the frequencies here. So I'm going to play just a little bit on this microphone, and then I will switch between the other microphones. And again, it's a Stedman N90, which is a very flat frequency response. You're going to get a really, clear picture of what the sound is. You got this $35, $34 Chinese mic in the middle, and then we got a SM57 here. So you can kind of compare the sounds of all three of these and gather what you think of this mic in the center, which is the purpose of this. So here we go. So you can see I'm kind of centering there around A, key of A, so you can see what it sounds like. All right, switching mics. All right, so I've enabled the Stedman N90, which is the microphone all the way on the left. Okay, so I'm going to play a series of things around A. Okay, now we're going to switch to the SM57. And again, I bypassed all the compression, EQ, and effects on the mixer. So the only thing that you are hearing is the mic'd sound of this amplifier, no additional processing going on. Okay, so that was the SM57. So I'm going to cycle through again. I'll play with the pick and my fingers so you can kind of hear the difference in how it sounds coming through the microphones. So again, starting with the microphone I've got on here, this is the SM57. Okay, switching to the Stedman. Okay, and now I'm going to switch to the middle microphone, which is the Heimu Big Bass. So there you go. I have switched between the 3 microphones here, and again, it's a SM57, the Heimu whatever big mic, the $34 Chinese mic, and then we got a Stedman N90 all the way there on the left. And again, that's a studio condenser mic, so it's got a really flat response. It's great for high volume things like guitar amps and drums, actually. But anyway, it gives a really flat frequency response. So as you're listening back to this video and comparing these microphones, keep in mind that Stedman N90 is a very flat frequency response, and compare that to the SM57 and this Heimu mic, you'll get a pretty good idea of what the coloration is with those other mics compared to the Stedman N90. And, it's an interesting mic, $34. I have been using it with my band pre-COVID for miking up a kick drum. We just kind of stick it in the the hole of the front of the kick drum and plug it in the PA. And again, it's a UI16, so I've already got the thing dialed in with the EQ and all that. But I thought that would that's not a good representation of what the microphone sounds like, because I've done a lot of EQ to optimize it for a kick drum. So it's made the rounds for about a year in gigs. Again, if you saw my previous video, you saw there's some build quality issues. There were some things that went loose on the mic. So you're probably going to have to take it apart and like tighten it up, maybe put some Loctite on it. And, hey, if that's cool, that's a good trade-off for that $34. I got to do it to mine. And, just looking at the other 2 mics here, the Stedman, I've taken it to a few gigs. It's a fairly expensive mic, so I don't like to take it out to gigs. And, the SM57, man, that thing goes to almost every gig. We use it for the snare drum. I've never had to put a SM57 back together after a bunch of gigs. They get dirty, but they keep on going. So I would say the build quality on that Chinese mic, not that great. You're going to be fixing stuff. I think it sounds pretty good. Listen with your own ear, see what you think for miking up a bass drum here. I don't play drums, so I can't really do a convincing video here of miking up a kick drum. So we'll have to wait for after we get through COVID here in the USA. Everybody's kind of in lockdown because, we don't need to go into the news, but COVID never really went away in the USA. So we're all kind of still locked down, going through all these infections. So eventually, maybe I'll do another video, and I'll show you what this Chinese mic does on kick drums. Until then, make sure you subscribe for more videos and demos of gear, and also performance videos. So I've done a lot of live streaming now, so make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can check out what's coming. Thanks.